How y'all doing? My name is Daniel. You can look up my other videos if you want to. You can go to my account, and if you want to get an update on my military history and why I do my blogs. Long story short, I did 2 tours to Iraq. I'm a Purple Heart awardee. I did just under 6 years. I joined the Army about 2.5 weeks after I turned 17, and I had my boots on the ground in Baghdad 16 days after my 18th birthday. So what I'm going to talk about today is the CIA program that everybody's talking about, and I just want to do some clarifications and kind of break some stuff down. Basically, the shit that I scream at the TV while I watch the news when they talk about this, that is just so blatant, obvious lies and misinformation that they're putting out there. For instance, the CIA program, this has been going on for about 7 years, and obviously they've annotated tens of millions of dollars to this program, and they would have you believe that, mind you, Leon Panetta, within a week, I think it was actually the very next day that he found out about the program, he went and briefed this to Congress. So, mind you, somehow the former head of the CIA found it unnecessary to brief Congress for nearly 7 years about this program, yet the new head of the CIA didn't even make it 48 hours after he found out about it, and mind you, they waited some 5 months to brief him about it, which means that they were hiding shit and destroying. If they didn't brief him for 5 months, then that means that they were destroying as much evidence about the program as possible. Now, I need to tell you why this is so important. Now, they're trying to label this program as, what are they saying? Trying a secret program to capture and kill Al-Qaeda terrorists. Now, we are using, now this isn't just CIA, this program was switched from the CIA to the Pentagon for 2 reasons. The first reason being is so that it could be more secretive. I mean, whenever things are under the Pentagon, they definitely have less of a legal responsibility, as well as the president doesn't, but the CIA does have less of a legal responsibility to brief the Congress about it, as well as they can keep it much more secret. I mean, the actions that they were doing, they could go without it being noticed by Congress. Now, they would like to tell you this program received funding for the full 7 years, but they would have you think they're telling us now that it was never put into action. Really? Tens of millions of dollars funded. It went on for 7 years, this program. Mind you, Leon Panetta says he just shut the program down. So how can it be funded for 7 years, active for 7 years, because if he had to shut it down, it means it was active, but it never did anything. So what they're telling America right now, the CIA, as well as all the news stations, is that not only did they never use this program, but somehow it went on for 7 years and was funded for 7 years, and they never used it. Now, why is this important? They're using military soldiers to go into other countries, and you know they did this to Iran. You know they did. They used this in Iran. Now, mind you, this is essentially a military task force that reports only to Dick Cheney, an official who isn't even elected. Even though he ran the country since 2001, it's obvious now that Bush literally, after 2001, September 11th, said, Cheney, you're in charge. I mean, there's no other way to put that. And everything that is coming up now that was illegal, the spy program that nearly made the head of the FBI and about 4 or 5 other major officials in our intelligence communities resign. Mind you, Dick Cheney sought the approval as well as started to construct that program of domestic spying for 4 months without the president even knowing about it. The head of the FBI, how the president found out about that program in 2001, and no, actually that was in 2000, I believe, was because the head of the FBI, before a press conference, the deputy director of the FBI told the president to his face, hey, me as well as the head of the FBI are going to resign tomorrow. And the president said, what the fuck for? And then he gave him a briefing about how Dick Cheney had gone behind the president's back. And mind you, Dick Cheney, who has no authority whatsoever, went in and was trying to build this program for domestic spying, which in and of itself is unconstitutional. He did so without the president even knowing. So that alone should really bother you. But the thing that is so important about the fact that Dick Cheney had this program, which was active, yes, it was active, and he used your tax dollars, my tax dollars. He took my tax dollars and your tax dollars and spent it on an unconstitutional program. The same thing went with the torture programs and domestic spying. You realize that it's not like somehow he only uses the billionaires' taxes, or somehow there's this bundle of money that all these illegal and unethical and immoral programs were funded from this bundle. No. He's using your 3-year-old kid's weekly allowance that he bought a candy bar with, that little 10 cents. He's using that money to do it, because there's no way to tell. Tax money is tax money. So literally, you got to think about that. Your 3-year-old son's 10-cent tax could have funded the gallon of water that they were using to waterboard Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and all the other people. But the thing that America needs to realize about the CIA program is that they were invading, literally, when it was a CIA at first, but then it went to the Pentagon. So these are military forces. So he was using military forces. We called them Jersey Boys in the Army, Black Ops, Special Forces. But really, Jersey Boys are people who give up their U.S. citizenship. They're supposed to, but they don't even bother doing that anymore. They give up their U.S. citizenship, so if they ever do get captured, we have plausible deniability. Look, he isn't even a citizen of the U.S., that kind of deal. But the thing that is so important about this is that not only did, and I'm willing to say it even though I literally have no proof, he used this against Iran, Pakistan, as well as, I'm sure, a dozen different other countries, and none of them being Afghanistan, Syria. I'd be willing to say at least a dozen different countries outside of Syria, Iran, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Iraq. Those are the kind of like the circle of death. Those are where the terrorists are staying. Syria and Iran. They're bouncing in and out of these countries to kill Americans in Afghanistan as well as in Iraq. But he could have started a war if these soldiers would have been captured while they were going in there and assassinating these people and capturing these people. During these renditions and assassinations, literally that could have caused and would have caused, like Iran definitely would have done it if they would have caught us, declared war on the U.S. So this is an unconstitutional and illegal program which he hid from Congress, which could have caused another country to declare war on the United States. So this is Dick Cheney, who has no authority whatsoever under the office he holds, who had 5 deferments from Vietnam, who cowered whenever it was his turn to fight in a war, who is just being criminally negligent to the point that it is ridiculous, that could have caused another country, that would have been 3 wars. It could have caused another country to declare war on the U.S., which would have inevitably led to hundreds and thousands of more U.S. soldiers and U.S. civilians dying. So that is the real scary part about this CIA program. Is not only the fact that he, now we're learning, specifically told the CIA before he moved this program to the Pentagon to specifically order them not to brief Congress about it, but that it would have inevitably and certainly, if it had continued, knowing the way Dick Cheney runs shit, because he fucking runs shit like shit, that it would have eventually led to another country declaring war on the United States. And the fact that they are not shouting this from the rooftops on CNN and the news stations is just insane. That this program could have led to another country or multiple countries declaring war on the United States. It's just insane. Knowing actually how shit works military-wise, now that I was in it and dealt with, I did multiple missions with Special Forces. I was infantry. I was, the unit I was with during my first deployment to Iraq was 1st Battalion of 187 Infantry Regiment, which was actually 1st Battalion 187 Infantry Regiment was the first, was not the Marines, was the first brigade to invade Afghanistan during the Afghanistan deployment. So we were the tip of the spear as far as the military goes. Out of the entire U.S. military, we were the first ones to go into Afghanistan when we invaded Afghanistan a decade ago. So we were the shit. But out of all these things I talked about, the news as well as the CIA are blatantly lying to you. And if you don't see that, then you are a sheep. You are sheeple. think about when